Welcome back here to Mighty Mac on YouTube. The first of the two 4-White Nationals is officially underway. We've just wrapped up qualifying as well as the now historic 4-Wide Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. That was a tongue twister to say already. It was a mouthful to try and say when we only had the two lanes. Now that you have the 4-Wide in there, it's even better. But of course, as all the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenges have been, this one lives up to expectations, and it is a welcome add to the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. We have highlights to go through, recaps, of course, the results looking into Sunday, as well as the video highlights. Let's get into the video, but before we do so, like I've been saying for the last few races, if you like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. The video and the channel has been growing within the last few weeks, and as we ramp up towards our month of May coverage with the Indianapolis 500 as well as the Chicago Route 66 Nationals, we have a whole lot to get ready for and a whole lot of coverage to give you guys within the next 2 months. So if you like what we do, you like the interviews, you like the highlights and the recaps, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends so that way everybody knows about this channel heading into next month as we get ready for the Great Spectacle Racing, because I can already say our media passes have been approved for the Indianapolis 500. So we will be covering the 108th running of the Greatest Spectacle in Racing, as well as hopefully the Route 66 Nationals in Chicago, Illinois. So if you like what we've been doing, then by all means subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So we had 4 rounds of qualifying going into this weekend for the Vegas 4-Wide Nationals. Honestly, the big story that I got going in is the crowd turnout at Vegas. It wasn't as well on Friday, but you could have expected that with the fact that it's a Friday afternoon. They started about 2 in the afternoon. People who live in Las Vegas are still going to be at work, and anybody who's on vacation is more likely going to be either at some sort of casino, or they're going to be at that Sphere thing, or they're going to be somewhere else. So there wasn't as many fans that are going to show up on a Friday night. But they showed up Saturday, and they showed up big. They filled the grandstands on both ends of the drag strip. It was, I'm going to say from what I could see, it's a little bit under a sellout crowd, but it came really close. And compared to what we saw last year, with as big as the grandstands as that track has, it's again a great start to the season for the NHRA, not just in action but as fan turnout as well. Gainesville, an incredible turnout. They had an impressive turnout for the fans that went to Pomona all weekend, even though they didn't get to see as well of a race as anybody would have hoped for. Then they go back to Arizona last weekend, and of course they sold out the joint on Saturday and Sunday, and it looks like there's another great turnout going to be in store for Sunday in Las Vegas. So a great start to the season for the NHRA just on fan turnout alone and the growth of the series, not just with Tony Stewart but with the racing that's been going on overall and the fans that have decided to go out and give this series a chance. I think it's going to keep getting better as the season gone along. Of course, with the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge as well, we saw some great racing with there. The way that worked out is if you at least even just made round 2, they took the round 2, basically because of the fact that you need 4 cars in the lanes, you're just going to rerun the round 2 in one giant pair, and then the semifinals that you would have had in another race just became the final round, and whoever finishes top 2 gets the points that you would have gotten with that and the money and all that sort of fun stuff. So it's basically just take the final round and combine it as what it would be anywhere else, and we saw some great racing in there. You see Jake Coughlin Jr. having a great turnout over there, winning that, defeating Troy Coughlin Jr., defeating Dallas Glenn and Aaron Stanfield. You saw Antron Brown defeating both the Coletta cars of Sean Langdon and Doug Coletta, as well as defeating Tony Stewart, who had an impressive turnout. I believe he had 2 clean runs today on Saturday, so that was a really big turnout for them. If they've been struggling all year to get that car on the racetrack, we'll see how he did in qualifying later on. And then, of course, in funny car, Proc Rocket, they've been having jets flying over the track yesterday doing aerial training because of the Air Force Base next door. So you had afterburners going on all day, and then Austin Proc turned on his afterburners, took care of business, defeating Blake Alexander, Daniel Wilkerson, and Paul Lee, winning that race. And I'm going to say this later on, but this has been a really good turnout for John Force Racing. I'll explain that later. But man, oh man, that team is looking like another funny car powerhouse like it used to back in the late 2000s, as that team has really turned it around. But we'll get into that later. Looking into the pro stock on the qualifying sheets, Jerry Don Tucker, his first ever #1 qualifier, a 6.612, gives the man from Lindsay, Oklahoma, #1 qualifier, 206.61 miles an hour. Your Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty winner, Jake Coughlin Jr. in second. Greg Anderson third. It feels like 2004 all over again. Fernando Quadro Jr. back there in fourth. Eric Latino, an impressive top 5 run. He finishes off fifth with a 6.34. Eric Enders, who went into qualifying in the bottom half, he actually found himself bumped all the way down to the 16th and final spot, but by then, anybody who was not in the show had already qualified and they were already officially done and packed out. so she got to be safe in there, but was almost the last car on the grid. She ends up bumping herself up 10 spots up into the 6th spot. David Quadra in 7th, Dallas Glenn 8th, Troy Coughlin Jr. back at 9th, and Derek Kramer rounds out your top 10. Looking back further, Aaron Stanfield in 11th, Brandon Foster in 12th, Christian Quadra in 13th, Sienna Wildgust, her second ever appearance in NHRA and on Sunday Elimination, she qualifies for the show in 14th. Kenny Delco 15th, Chris McGahey, who had to bump his son out, sneaks in to the 16th and final spot with a 683. Looking at the drivers who did not make the list, and this is where it gets surprising. Mason McGahey, who had a really good run back at the Arizona Nationals. Granted, I believe he even made the Mission Foods Too Fast Stage Challenge. He doesn't make the show. He finds himself 17th. Matt Harford, who had such a strong season last year, won it back at Pomona, looked even stronger going into the Vegas 4-Wide Nationals last year, now comes back, and it has been a rough start to the season for him. He came into the Arizona Nationals, qualified 16th, now comes into the Vegas 4-Wide, not even in the show. He qualifies 18th with a 6.719. Steve Graham in 19th, and Joey Gross rounds out 20th in your pro stock class. Moving on into funny car. And this is what I'm talking about. Austin Prock, John Force 1-2. John Force Racing has been known to be a funny car powerhouse. Of course, you knew that John Force was one of the top funny car teams when it came to Robert High. He's a multi-time funny car champion, but you saw John Force kind of slip to the wayside as we got later on into the 2010s. But this has been a resurgence year for John Force. He almost had a shot, I believe, of winning the Mission Foods Too Fast to Chase Challenge. No, he was, I believe, in Q4. He even said he forgot how the lights worked. He forgot, I believe, which light was his or the procedure, how that worked, even though he won the first 4-Way Nationals back in Charlotte back in 2010. So John Force, second, 908. Austin Prock, first with a 904. That is a very tight bunch there. John Force Racing looking, again, like a top funny car team, a very balanced team as well. Jared Todd bumps Bob Tasca down to 4th. Jared Todd qualifies 3rd with a 930. Bob Tasca, 931. Paul Lee, an incredible start to the season for him. He keeps looking stronger and stronger as the years gone on. At 3.939 seems in 5th. Daniel Wilkerson, top half qualifying in 6th. Cruz Pedregon, a top half qualifying position in 7th. Got that run in Q4. Give me one second. He qualifies in 7th. Blake Alexander, another impressive qualifying result. Top half qualifying result for Blake Alexander. Norwalk winner from last year, made the final round for the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. Ended up finishing 3rd behind Paul Lee in that race, but he holds on to 3rd with a 3.963. Alexis Ajoria in 9th. Matt Hagan, Ron Capps 10th and 11th. Disappointing start for them. You saw Matt Hagan have a good start to the year, starting to go to the wayside a little bit, especially what happened in Arizona going out early. Ron Capps as well going out early. Now comes here 10th and 11th at the end of qualifying, so they're going to find themselves having to run deep in the field. But of course, with how crazy the 4-Wide Nationals is, you're not going to want to count them out just yet. Steve Denham at 13th with a 4.020. Dave Richards, an impressive result for him, a 4.051, one of the best runs of the season for them so far as they try to build momentum. They had a good result last weekend out at Arizona, and they keep looking stronger now as that team has finally started to turn around for that funny car. Now Jason Rupert in 15th, Jeff Deal sneaks in back in 16th, and of course down in the bottom of the field, Terry Haddock, second time not qualifying out in Las Vegas. I believe this is a back-to-back. He did not qualify for the Vegas 4-Wide Nationals last year either, if memory serves me correctly. So once again, 2 times in a row they go out to Vegas for the 4-Wide. That's 2 times they're getting sent home early. A 4.150 falls just short. Jim Campbell as well. He was looking later in the bracket, later in the field to go out for qualifying. As they're getting ready to stage the car shut off on them. They lost power. Very disappointing end of their weekend. He's not qualified. Buddy Hull, the big Jim Dunn Racing team, very disappointing end for them as well. Second to last on the grid. He finds himself not qualified with the 2.36. And then Alex Milanovic, that is a very weird name. I'm so sorry if I keep butchering that. 4.268. He is out of the show as well. And then lastly, in Top Fuel, the reigning Top Fuel World Champion Doug Coletta, 738, number 1 qualifier. Tony Schumacher, again, like I said back in Pro Stock, feels like 2004 all over again. Tony Schumacher, second at 768. Clay Milliken up there in 3rd, a good result for them. They've been talking about that they had the disappointing run at Pomona, had a good turnout at Arizona, and then said this weekend, after that Q4 run, that apparently Jimmo has been saying that they've been struggling to make it down the track on all 8 cylinders. They got all eight cylinders working on that final run, bumps himself up to 3rd. Billy Torrance 4th, Brittany Force in 5th. Your Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge winner Antron Brown in 6th. Sean Ray, the top half qualifying effort, sees him in 7th, and Sean Langdon rounding out the top half in 8th. Steve Torrance in 9th, Justin Ashley 10th, Tony Stewart back in 11th with a 3:8:07, Josh Hart in 12th, Jasmine Salinas 13th, Krista Baldwin back in 14th, Terry Totten in 15th, and of course, we are not having a full 16-car field in top fuel, but we did have 20 cars in funny cars, so that's a pretty good turnout for them. So again, very topsy-turvy qualifying. If you're going to be trying to make your drag racing bracket bonanza picks, my hat's off to you. Good luck with that. That's going to be incredible to watch. I'm going to have a hard time and trying to get a headache all night trying to figure out who I want to pick for that race as well. But of course, as it's been all weekend, I don't think you're going to be really making any accurate picks. There's a big breeze yesterday, so that made the track conditions a little bit challenging. It's supposed to be a lot calmer tomorrow, so you're going to see a lot faster speeds going into Sunday. Fingers crossed, hopefully. We have the highlight videos to go through as well for both qualifying and Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. Let's look through that and then look forward to Sunday eliminations.
Looking pretty good, wouldn't you say? Austin and Dan. How about 3.90 Austin Prock goes to the top and advances. 2 will advance. 2 will hope to move up in qualifying. Cash and points from the folks at Mission Foods on the line. Too fast, too tasty. Red light, Greg Anderson. Oh, man. He dropped the hammer just a little too soon. 6:61 for Jerry Don Tucker. Hello. He's going to get the number 1 qualifying spot, but guess what? He's not going to advance. Look at the lights. Jag goes 6:62 at 2:06. Got there first. 6:64 for Troy. Got there second. Jerry Don Tucker had an 0:57 light, and that cost him. For him, get off the starting line, clean into the finish line. It's going to be Doug Coletta. How about 3.73? Look at the speed, 336 miles an hour. Doug Coletta takes Mac Tools back to the top and takes them into the final round. Tony Stewart, 3.807 at 324. He's going to advance. 2 of them get to come back and run for the money. Oh, yeah, and those bonus points come in handy at the end of the year. You can never have too many points at the end of the year. Another great quad. It's going to be lanes 3 and 4 that advance. 394, Paul Lee, advance. 397, Blake Alexander, advance. All 4 of them get cleanly off the starting line. Reaction advantage goes to Troy Coughlin Jr. Win light goes. How about Jag Coughlin, 6:62 to win it by 8 thousandths of a second. TJ's going to finish second, 6:64.
As Angel Sampé puts the medallion around Jeg Coughlin's neck, the winner of the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. Jeg, this is your first one, probably the only box you haven't checked off, and now you've got that under wraps. What is it like to come out and race here, during qualifying, and beat your nephew?
It feels great, honestly. To be competitive, during qualifying is a new thing for us. Obviously, thanks to Mission for all the work they put together, not only for the Too Fast, Too Tasty, but obviously for the NHRA series. So, it feels great to get a win here on Saturday without question. I think we ended up number 2 or 3 in the field. I didn't hear where that ended up after this session, but I'm ready for tomorrow, so let's go.
Wilkerson up on the center line. He's off the throttle, and how about it? 391, 326. Austin Prock picks up the Too Fast, Too Tasty win. 393 for Paul Lee. Another great run for Paul. They continue to improve. 396 for Blake Alexander. And Dan Wilkerson, that car was pushing over towards the center line, spun the tires, kicked the tail. He was out of the throttle to a 435. Austin Prock gets the win.
And here comes the medallion from Angel Sampé, the brand ambassador for Mission Foods, as Austin Prock finishes the day holding the trophy here for Mission Foods. What's it like to get that win on qualifying day?
It's awesome. I love, having a chance to race on Saturday and earning these crew guys some cash, man. They just work so hard and they're doing such a great job. Thank you, Mission Foods, for all you do for the NHRA. We really appreciate it.
We've got a hat change for you because you are the #1 qualifier, rocking the yellow hat as we go into race day tomorrow. Conditions going to be better than we saw all weekend. What can we expect from your team?
I think you're going to see some really good runs. You'll probably see low ET of the weekend first round from one of these cars. But to be 1-2 with my boss, John Force, we got some bad hot rods here at John Force Racing right now, and we're having a blast.
The first ever 4-wide, 2-fast, 2-tasty champion in Top Fuel will be decided 3.7 seconds from now. It's going to be Antron Brown, 379, 330 miles an hour. Also, 379 Sean Langdon, but his car only 305. Tony goes 382 at 325 miles an hour. Doug had the haze off the Goodyears out there about 400 feet, and he slows to a 490. Antron Brown, those guys need a little pick-me-up.
Welcome back to the 4-Wide Nationals here in Las Vegas. As brand ambassador for Mission Foods, Angel Sampé puts a medallion around Antron Brown's neck. Antron Brown, you won this race last year. Now you've got the first step of it, I guess, so to speak, that Mission Foods trophy. What do we have to do to turn this into a gold man tomorrow?
Hey, we just got to keep working right there. We wanted to run a little bit better, but not shoot ourselves in the foot. And hey, I got off. I thought it was going to be a little bit better on the tree. We were dead even with Sean, and something happened to him, fizzled out. But we got the win from Matco Tools, Lucas Oil, Hanksford FEP, Toyota, Sirius XM, all of our great partners that make this happen in Summit Racing. You know, Mission, thank you for putting it on. And I guess our tortilla chips fell in the right place. So we got a little bit lucky. Got to be there to get lucky. And we're feeling good. Brian Karate, all these guys, and Mark Oswald, Brad Mason, they've been working hard, man. And we just got to keep getting better. We got progress going, and we're going to get after it tomorrow.
And that's going to wrap up the video here. So once again, like I've been saying, if you like what we're doing here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like the video, comment, and share it with your friends so that way everybody can get exposed to the world of drag racing, because again, the season just keeps getting better. And as we're now within the 4-wide part, we're going to have the Vegas 4-wide Nationals here. We're going to go all the way out east to NASCAR country for the Charlotte 4-wide Nationals, where of course we're going to have the very much anticipated return of Pro Stock Motorcycle. There's been a lot of drama going on within that class between the V-twin Buells and the Suzuki Hayabusa battle between essentially Matt Smith and Vance and Hines Racing. They've been out for 6 weeks, and they're finally going to be back. There's been some changes to the class. It's going to be exciting to see where that all shakes up, see how Matt Smith's testing has gone, see what the new fuel on the Suzukis, if that's really going to make any difference for them. But it's going to be a very exciting turnaround there, and of course, just 4-wide racing in general. We're going to also have, like I said, the Rooster 26 Nationals in May, and of course the Indianapolis GP, as well as the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500. So if you like what we're doing, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Follow me on all social media pages down below. Mighty Matt Go 30. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I've been updating everything all day, as well as your winners of the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, as well as what's going to go on tomorrow for the event. So be sure to follow me on there. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm everywhere. So like I said, subscribe to the channel, share with everybody you know, so that way we're all exposed to drag racing as we get further in the season. Because again, like I've been saying time after time after time, if you're not watching this, I believe you're genuinely wasting your time, because it's some of the best racing you're going to see all year. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until Sunday night, this is Mighty Mac, and I'll see you next time.